Did you know that 1 in 3 veterans are unaware of their VA financing benefits? So stay tuned to hear more. Okay, welcome back. So Monday night again. So my name is Susanna Gentry with Coldwell Banker, and I am the host of the show, and I am your Austin, Texas real estate agent. And I really love what I do. And there's so many times that people are asking, what's going on in the Austin market? So I just wanted to let you know every week I'm going to have a market minute for you, and it will tell you my top 10 picks in the median range and a little bit of the data. So check this out. Don't you love that music? Makes me happy. I just start dancing. So tonight is going to be all about the differences of a VA loan. And but before I do, if you guys like having information surrounding all of your real estate decisions, whether it's buying, selling, investing, please take a moment and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And click that little bell for notifications every week, every Monday night when we go live. And I have, well, first of all, let me just kind of preface, I love our veterans, my dad, my brothers, my son is a Marine pilot. Now I have 4 nephews in the military. And so I really wanted to do this show just to provide the information. And I have 2 special guests that I'm inviting in on the show. And let me just pop them up on the screen here real quick. Hi, Emily.
Hi.
Hi, Larry.
Hey.
So you guys, I have to tell you, I have had both of these guests on the show before because I love working with them. 2 of my very favorite people and so highly qualified. So Emily, take just a minute just to tell everybody about yourself, how long you've been in the business, and then I'll let Larry go.
My name is Emily Frankie. I'm with Guaranteed Rate Affinity. I've been in the business since 2002. And every time I say that, people are like, when did you start? When you were 12? And that's not the case. I just look younger than I am because I'm a redhead, so I don't go outside.
Yes. That's awesome. Well, thank you for joining. You have so much experience with the VA loans, and I just wanted to hear your expertise and share this with the viewers. So
thanks for having me.
Yeah, and let's hear from Larry.
Hey, I'm Larry. I own Texas Fowler Inspection Services. I'm a certified professional inspector in the state of Texas. Got 21 years of military experience, retired out of the National Guard in October of last year.
Wow.
And I've actually bought 5 homes with my VA loans. So I'm pretty experienced in using a VA loan.
Yes. Oh, that's so awesome. And obviously, I chose both of y'all specifically for your information that you can share. So why don't we, first of all, let me just check over here and put the chats on. So you guys, viewers, definitely ask questions as we go along because I want to address those. Hi, Gabby. Hi, Gerald. Nice to see you guys. Okay, so let's start off with Emily. So let me get back here to the banners. Emily, can you tell us what is a VA loan? Can you just kind of set that up for us?
So a VA loan is going to be a loan that's available to a veteran, a surviving spouse of a veteran who's not married. It's basically 100%. You don't have to put down a down payment. There's no MI, which means mortgage insurance. We use a lot of acronyms in the mortgage world. So if you've ever gotten a loan, you'll hear lots of acronyms thrown around. So MI is one of them, and that stands for mortgage insurance. And that stands for a pretty hefty amount of your payment. If you've ever gotten a loan and not put 20% down.
Yes. Let me pop this up here. It sounds like the sound is bad, but let me just put this up on the screen so everybody can see. You know, obviously the no down payment, that's just absolutely huge, because if you're buying a $200,000 or $300,000 home and you have a minimum of 3 to 5%, you know, so that's amazing. Emily, the PI mortgage, maybe we'll get into a little bit more about that in a little bit. But so can you just specifically tell us what's the differences, you know, when you're doing a VA loan, what are the differences?
Well, you don't have to put down a down payment. That's
right.
The number one difference. You're not going to have any MI, which is mortgage insurance. That's really the biggest difference. And the interest rates. The interest rates are much better on a VA loan than they are on a conventional loan.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important. And then if you have a 10% or more disability, service-connected disability, you don't have to pay the funding fee. And that's really big as well.
Yep.
So what is the funding fee? Can you explain to everybody a little bit more about that? If they have the 10% disability, and I know by working with a lot of them, yeah, there's a lot that will have at least that amount.
Sure.
So what is that funding fee?
So the funding fee is going to be determined based on your loan amount and based on how much you put down, if you put anything down. Most veterans decide not to, and you don't have to, but sometimes veterans do. So if it's your first time and you're using your VA loan and you're putting down less than 5%, that's going to be 3.6% of your sales price if you don't have the disability rating. So just easy numbers, if that's a $100,000 loan, that's $3,600.
Wow.
200 times 300 times 400, whatever your sales price is, that can be a hefty amount. That's added to your loan. So it's not a
yes. Yes, that's substantial. Wow. So Larry, have you used that before?
Yeah, actually, I've used my VA loan several times, and there's something else I'd like to add from a veteran's point of view. If you're still active duty or in the National Guard, you can use something called a Texas Land Board or Texas Vet Loan, that I use. And what's good about that is if you get deployed during the loan, they basically transition a loan for 18 months to where you're just paying principal, no interest, and they lower your payment. It's awesome.
Wow.
That is awesome.
Wow. Yes, that's very good. That's very good. So Larry, you know, I always hear the differences of the inspection. Since you are the inspector and you're a veteran, tell us from all aspects, what's different on that?
So the inspection's the same. It's just that there's an appraisal that goes along with the VA loan that's a little more strict. So if you have certain issues, your house can fail and it has to be repaired, or you're gonna have to walk away from the house. So some of the, you want me to just tell you some of the things I've come across that typically fail a house?
Please.
Okay. So for one, heaters. Your heater has to be functional, maintain temperature in the house at least 50 degrees. If it's not functional, it's not going to pass the VA loan. That's not as huge down here, but up north it's big. Another thing, you can't have any broken windows, so cracked glass and stuff, the glazing being broken, that's a no-go. So they're gonna say you have to fix that. Electricity, it's got to be to code. So even though, like, if you were buying a house and someone added a hot tub and the circuit wasn't exactly to code, but it wasn't really, you know, dangerous, you could, if you were not doing a VA loan, you could say, well, I'll just buy it. It's no big deal. They just added a circuit. But to pass a VA loan, it's got to be exactly to code. The other thing would be roof leaks. They don't like roof leaks, and they don't like haphazard patches. So a lot of times you find it in older houses with chimneys, especially in Austin, where they put a bunch of goop up there. And if I see that and I identify it, it's going to have to be fixed, right? And then the last thing is the dreaded termite report. You got to have a termite inspection. And if you're looking at a house that has a wooden deck, and the deck is in contact with the soil, I guarantee you right now that's probably going to fail, because you can't, it's got to be up on concrete. So those are some things you got to look for.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let me jump back over to Emily. I know you touched on the eligibility. Can you run through that list again? Who is eligible for the VA loan?
Yeah. So a veteran, of course,
Right.
a surviving spouse that is unmarried, they cannot be remarried,
Oh,
and qualify for that loan. If they've gotten remarried, they're not going to get that veteran's benefit.
okay.
They're going to have to be an unmarried surviving spouse.
Uh-huh.
Also, we're going to have, hang on one second, I have a little spreadsheet that I saved for
So,
us.
Emily, let me jump in while you're looking for that. Well, Larry, you probably know also, how long do you have to be in the service before qualifying? Because I have someone that just signed up. I was taking them out yesterday, new buyers, and they said, "Hey, I just signed up for the National Guard. Can I get VA?" And I know there's a time period. Larry, you're shaking your head.
I don't know the exact time period because I had my DD-214 for my first tour of 6 years before I bought. So
Okay.
there is a time period. It might be 24 months or something. And then the National Guard, it might be to get your first DD-214.
I was thinking that it was 180 days. Emily, does that sound right?
So it's 90 days on active duty during wartime, or 181 days during peacetime.
181. They have to throw that
During,
extra day in there.
So that's
Okay.
active duty, and I don't know what the National Guard is. That might be a different number.
I don't know why it's 181 during peacetime, but that's the rule.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Thank you for that. So, Larry, back to you. You were talking about that report. That sounds kind of scary where, you have a seller and do they want to accept the VA loans? Is it going to be a lot more difficult because, you can't, as a veteran, you are not to pay for any of those, correct?
Right. The seller has to pay for the repairs based on the VA loan. So the seller may decide it's not worth it. It's just a negotiation process. I mean, you can always say, we'll bring a little more money to the table then, I mean, it's just, but the seller is technically, they're going to pay for the repairs. And after they pay for the repairs and they're all done, I probably wouldn't go back out because the appraiser is going to go out. My early inspection will tip them off to what things are going to fail the appraiser. The appraiser is the important thing.
Okay, so you don't go back out after the initial. Okay, that was one of my questions that I get asked. Okay, so hey guys, by the way, if there's anyone that is looking to buy and they're a veteran, make sure that you tag their name into the comments so they can hear this information. And give me some thumbs up, let me know that you guys are out there. Let's see if you have, okay, let's see here. We got a couple questions. Larry, okay, let's see here. You appraised the home. I purchased this over. Oh, okay. And your thoroughness and analysis report was above and beyond.
Thank
Wow,
you.
yes, absolutely. And of course, that's one of my clients. So of course
Nice.
they used you. That's awesome. Love that. Okay, let's see here. We got another one. Chris, if you do not have a disability rating, does the VA funding fee increase on subsequent uses?
So it actually decreases. The first use is going to be more than it is the second time. And it's also going to depend on how much you put down. So the first time that you use it, it's going to be 3.6%. Every subsequent use, if it's less than 5% down, it's 2.3%. If you put 5% or more down, the first use, it's 1.65. And then every time after that, it stays 1.65.
Okay, so since you're a numbers person, run through that just a little bit more slowly. So go back over that. What are the numbers based off of, and how are they changing?
So if you're putting down 5% or less, so 0% down or 4.99, you're going to put 3.6% is going to be your funding fee.
Okay.
If it's your first time. If it's your second time or after, it's going to be 2.3%.
Okay, so the price of the funding fee decreases each subsequent time, correct?
Correct.
And then, of course, you don't even pay it when there is a 10% or more disability, correct?
Correct.
So
and then if you 5% down, which some veterans do, sometimes they put money down.
Okay.
It's 1.65%.
Okay.
Yeah.
First time or second time.
So Larry, you're smiling. Did you choose to put money down, or what?
Oh, yeah. I
Oh,
saved
yeah.
that funding fee. Yeah. I mean, I didn't get my disability rating until after I bought this last house. So I had to put money down. So I put money down to get my funding fee down. Sure. It is a no-brainer.
Okay. Okay. So there are advantages to go ahead and put the money down, but it's such an amazing thing to have that option. Wow, yes, you can choose, but if you're especially a first time veteran and buying for the first time, to know that you can walk in without those fees. Sometimes, Emily, I have clients that think that it is zero, period, but there is still closing costs. So can you cover that just a little bit? What's the difference, and what are they going to be looking at?
There are still closing costs. There's still an appraisal. There's still going to be title work and things like that. You can negotiate that in your contract and maybe have the seller pay that if that's, in the cards. Such a tough market right now, Susanna can tell you. It just depends on if you're able to get the seller to pay that, or if you're able to build it into your price, which we can always work the numbers if we need to, as long as the appraisal makes value. But right now, that's kind of a tough thing to make work.
Right. Being the seller's market, you don't have a whole lot of negotiating there. I mean, you saw the numbers in the market minute. I mean, for all of Austin is 1.3 months, and a healthy market is 6 months supply. And in a lot of areas, it's less than 3 weeks of inventory. So obviously your agent is going to be able to coach you through that. If you're buying in one of those areas that the inventory is low, that seller is not doing anything.
We used to build it in that way. It's not quite that way in our market today. But it depends on the house. It depends on the seller. It depends on what you're able to do. But there are still closing costs involved. But there are things that the veteran, can't pay for. The lender can do what we call a flat fee. And so that's a common misconception. People now say, but the veteran can't pay certain fees. Technically, they can't. But the lender can charge a flat fee and put all of those fees in their flat fee. So it's a little misconception.
Okay, so that's really good information. Emily, I love you sharing that, because that's something that they should look out for, and obviously you need to be able to trust your lender. And obviously when I recommend you guys, I feel confident that my clients are taking so good of care.
I will say that Guaranteed Rate doesn't charge a lender fee or an application fee at all to our veterans. It's completely free.
I love that. And Larry, I know that you offer a discount for the veterans as well, don't you?
Of course, yeah. First responders, veterans, and actually healthcare and educators now. I do those too, because everyone's kind of in a bind. But yeah, definitely veterans for sure.
Yes, that's awesome. We've got another question here. Let me pop that up there. Are there certain types of homes, townhomes, et cetera, that do not qualify for VA loans?
No, I mean, it might not pass inspection.
Mobile
so like Larry said, I mean, that would be your biggest deal, or pest inspection, which would also be something, but not necessarily the type of loan.
Okay, so Larry, and I know I'm just popping a lot of extra questions on you guys because of the questions that are coming in. The pest inspection. Now, the termite inspection is not required here in Texas. Is that right?
No, it is required. It's required. It's not required by Texas. It's required by the VA for the loan.
Okay. So not in Texas, but by the VA. Looking out.
If you buy a house with a VA loan in Texas, it is required.
Okay. And what's the price on the termite inspection, or approximate?
I'd say around $75.
Okay, so it's not nearly as bad as I was thinking.
75 to 100. I mean, yeah.
Okay. And that would be just added on to the regular inspection as a... Yeah,
and I actually, because knowing that if it's a vet doing a VA loan, I'll give them the veteran discount and a termite discount. So because I'm certified to do termite inspections, but I can't write the report required because I'm not an applicator in the state of Texas. So I'll give them a $40 discount towards that.
Okay.
Basically almost covers it with their veterans discount. So it's a wash.
That's awesome. Emily, did you have anything else? I know we kind of jumped around a little bit, but is there any other pertinent information that we need to share before we sign off here?
I think if the only thing that I would mention is if for some reason something does come up in that termite inspection, a treatment is also required from a lending standpoint.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So everything has to be fixed. Whatever is discovered has to be found out. So, well, thank you so much, Emily and Larry. I loved having you guys on again. I'm going to put you guys backstage and say goodbye to everybody. And then we'll talk afterwards. All right. Let's see here. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this information. And again, if there is anybody that's looking to buy or sell and they're a veteran, and tag their name into the comments. That way they can go back through it and learn a little bit more. And if you enjoyed tonight's show, make sure you give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and click that little bell. And every week when we go live, it will notify you. So until next week, this is Susanna Gentry, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.